So hello everyone, how are you? Today I will be taking you to the small town of Spaarndam, which is in North Holland, and I'll be taking you on a bicycle tour.
Spaarndam lies just west of Amsterdam, and we'll be passing through the city of Haarlem until we end at the beach in Zandvoort. So I want to show you all these bunkers built by the Germans as a leftover from World War II. It's really impressive. They are scattered here in the landscape just beside the dike.
So here I am. Let's check out Spaarndam.
Spaarndam is a traditional Dutch village. It's mostly built on a dike. As you can see, there's one road. On both sides there's water. On the right side here and on the left side there. On the right side here, that's the old town and harbour. Let's see if I can show you and get down there. On the right side here you have the best restaurant in town, I guess, and this little bridge, well, you can cross it by bike anyway. So Spaarndam was built around a lock, and this was in the year 1300 something. So it's a pretty old town. Not much of a pretty sight, all those garbage bags there. I guess it's garbage collecting day. What I've just recently discovered is that the famous painter from Haarlem, you know, Frans Hals, he married in Spaarndam. So if you want to know more about Spaarndam, check Wikipedia. I have the link here. Although the Dutch Wikipedia has more information than the English version. So you might want to translate the Dutch version. So here on the left side you'll see that there's a lot of water here. This water connects to the North Sea Canal, which goes all the way up to Amsterdam. And on the other side of the road we also have water. And this fantastic statue of Hansje Brinker.
So we're still at the town of Spaarndam, and as you can see behind me, we have this specific statue of Hansje Brinker.
So Hansje Brinker is the fellow that put his finger in the dike to prevent the town from flooding. He was called the hero of Haarlem. So now let's continue our journey by bike to the last point in Spaarndam, the lock that is still in use. This is it. Let's stop here for a few seconds. So there's a boat waiting for the bridge to open up. It only opens several times a day, so the skipper's got to schedule it. So we're now at the end of the town and passing by the grocery store until we come to the meadows before we enter Haarlem. know there's somewhere around here a little sideway I want to show you. Ah, here it is. So this sideway takes us alongside Mooie Nel, which translates to Beautiful Nel. It's a big lake near Haarlem, and during summer it is crowded with sailing boats. Around the corner there's a bridge with the water that leads to Haarlem from Beautiful Nel. So we are actually on a bridge, as you can see. So in Holland it's common to live on a boat. I don't have any experience with living on a boat, but could you imagine that when there are some waves the boat rocks? That's fine when you're in bed, but when you're just preparing a meal, I wonder how that works out. Quick, have a look at the sign. It says Haarlem. We're entering Haarlem. We're passing by Molen de Veer. I see some people sitting outside, but we'll just continue our journey because we have some biking ahead of us. So now that we have entered Haarlem, we first have to go through some industry, some office and so on. So I'll just fast forward a little. So as you can see, we are really lucky here in Holland. We have these paved ways for biking, and this is common in Holland. It divides the traffic from the bikers, which is a lot more safe, and you have the space that you want for biking. What you now see ahead of us, the round structure, the dome, it was a prison, actually, the prison of Haarlem. I think Holland's got 3 of them, one in Arnhem, one in Breda, and one in Haarlem. And the one in Haarlem has just been closed and renovated, and it is a cinema now. I've heard it's beautiful inside and fun to go to. At the far end here, in the contrast, you'll see the gate of Haarlem. You see the spikes at the end. We're not visiting it, but I can recommend you to check out Wikipedia, because it actually is a nice building. And it's the city gate of Haarlem, indicating the end of the connection with Amsterdam and Haarlem. I love this when they have dedicated traffic lights for bicycles. So the water that you see here, it flows all the way from behind Spaarndam, where we were earlier today, all the way from the North Sea Canal, and it flows into Haarlem via Mooie Nel or Beautiful Nel, and this water here is called Spaarne. And what you see here is the beautiful windmill called De Adriaan, and you can visit it, and below it there is a restaurant, cafe. You can have a drink outside by the waterside, and I can really recommend it. So since we now have crossed the Spaarne, we are getting closer to the city center. Let's turn left here and check out the city center of Haarlem. So Amsterdam is famous for its canals, but Haarlem's got a few too. That church tower in the distance, that indicates the center of Haarlem. It's called the Sint Bavo. We'll be there in a minute. Have a look at those stepped gable houses. It's such a pretty sight. with on our left side still het Spaarne. Haarlem city center, here we come. We're on a weekday, but during the weekend this is crowded. All these people having a drink, standing outside or having a drink on one of the many terraces. So here we are, Haarlem city center, de Grote Markt, the big market as it's called, and in front of us the city hall. It has just been renovated and it really looks nice. Let me quickly park my bike here and give you some impression of the big market square and its beautiful surroundings. Let me get back to my bike and continue our journey. Holland. This is definitely the country of bikes. That building ahead of us, that's the theater of Haarlem. It is a beautiful building, isn't it? Let's stop at the fish stall and have some nice herring. The sign says New Holland herring, but this salmon with the topping does look delicious too. Anyway, I've got the herring.
So I'm having the typically Dutch fish on a roll. Right.
So this is just raw herring with pickles and onions. The herring doesn't taste that strong. That's why we have the pickles and onions. All in all, it's really a great meal. Now that we've had some fish, we can continue our journey and find our way to the beach, eventually leaving Haarlem behind us. Just a small detail, I'm not sure if you've noticed before, but the traffic lights got a bicycle icon. Let's turn right here and then take a left so we can have a better view of the cathedral, or the Greater Saint Bavo as it's known. There it is. It's really big. So you might be wondering where we are now. Well, since we've crossed the ring road of Haarlem, we have definitely left Haarlem center, and we are now in the outskirts of Haarlem, almost in the next town. Did you already spot those flower fields on the left? Let's stop here and have a look. Although I don't believe it's really the time of the season, August, I do think they are beautiful, especially at the time of this year. But if you really want to see them in full colors, you should come and see them in the springtime. On the left here, this little tavern with a nice terrace is called the Stinkende Emmer, which means the stinking bucket. That's a strange name for a tavern like that. I was told that in the old days fish was brought from Haarlem to Zandvoort. I mean from Zandvoort to Haarlem, of course. And they brought it in a bucket. And well, the bucket stinks of fish, and that's the name they use nowadays. But let there be no mistake, the food and drinks are excellent.
So I'm in the countryside just outside of Haarlem, and just put my bike here to show you the other side of this bridge.
In the far distance there's a tennis court, and on that side we have Elswoud, a nice recreational area, and on that side you will find Haarlem with the big St. Bavo we saw earlier today. Let me zoom in. There it is, do you see it? So the path we're on right now is called het koeienpad, or in English, the cow path. This is probably the way the farmers brought their cows into Haarlem or into the fields. In the near distance you see the buildings of Elswoud, like I mentioned before. This is a recreational area where you can architecture, but in the past it was owned by rich merchants, and these buildings have been painted by famous painters. As you can see now, we have left Haarlem and are proceeding towards Zandvoort. But first we need to take a ride here, and then let's enjoy nature for a while. These woods of Aardenhout and Benveld between Haarlem and Zandvoort have the most beautiful houses that you've ever seen. This is an expensive neighborhood. I've skipped a few minutes of this video and now we are in Zandvoort. Let's have a look at the town center and see what's going on. This whole seaside village is decorated. Of course, there's Formula 1 coming weekend. Even the town hall is decorated. In one of these streets of Zandvoort you can find shops and restaurants and some nightlife during the summer. This is probably the place that's gonna be packed during the Formula 1 Grand Prix weekend. So we have almost ended our journey here in Zandvoort. Let's make a left turn up the street all the way to the beach and the entrance of the Grand Prix Formula 1 track. By the way, on the right side you'll see the train station of Zandvoort. It's a pretty building, isn't it? Normally these constructions are not there, of course. See the big Ferris wheel? That's where the racetrack is, and this is the entrance of Zandvoort Formula 1 racetrack. It's gonna be busy during the weekend, I can bet on that. Near the entrance they have some promotions for the casino as well, of course. Last but not least, the beach. With this magnificent view of Zandvoort beach, we conclude this journey from Spaarndam to Haarlem and finally in Zandvoort. I hope to see you all again soon, and thanks for watching.